I found out I wasn't going on the cruise when my mother slid a single ticket across the kitchen table and wouldn't meet my eyes. My sister squealed, already calling her friends, while my chest burned with a familiar mix of humiliation and rage. "Be mature, Lily," my dad said, like betrayal was a lesson and not a wound. That was the moment I realized my family had been using me for years, and they thought I was too weak to notice. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe and share. Your support keeps the stories coming. The house smelled like burnt coffee and cheap candles, the same house I had been quietly paying to keep alive. I stood there while my sister twirled, talking about ocean views and room service, and my mom explained how they just couldn't afford 2 tickets. She said it softly, like the lie would sound kinder if it was gentle. I nodded because that's what I always did. I was the reasonable one, the backup plan, the invisible wallet. Later that night, we had a family dinner to celebrate the trip. Relatives crowded around the table, laughing, clinking glasses. Someone asked why I wasn't going. My sister answered before I could. "Lily's busy with work. She's basically married to her job." Everyone laughed. I felt my face heat up, my fork shaking in my hand. No one mentioned that my job had paid for the fridge humming behind us, the couch they were sitting on, the lights glowing over their heads. For 8 years, I had covered utilities when my parents came up short. I bought the washer when the old one died. I paid rent during the months they said they'd pay me back. I kept receipts in a folder no one knew about, not out of spite, but survival. I told myself family meant sacrifice. I told myself love meant staying quiet. My sister never stayed quiet. She bragged about spa days, new clothes, weekend trips. She never offered to help. At dinner, she raised her glass and thanked our parents for always supporting her dreams. My uncle looked at me and joked, "You're lucky, Lily. You don't have to spend money on vacations." Laughter again. I smiled because crying would have ruined the mood. That night, I lay awake listening to the house I owned more than anyone else snore around me. The cruise wasn't the real betrayal. It was the proof. Proof that no matter how much I gave, I would always be expected to give more and still be told it wasn't enough. I opened my laptop, pulled up my spreadsheets, and started making a plan that scared me and thrilled me at the same time. 2 days later, my parents left for the cruise. The house felt strangely quiet, like it was holding its breath. I stood in the living room looking at everything I had paid for and realized this was my chance to stop being the family's safety net. I picked up my phone and made a call that would change everything, just as my sister's voice echoed from upstairs, asking where I thought I was going. I didn't answer my sister. I walked past her, keys in hand, while she followed me down the stairs, demanding explanations like she had any authority left. The moving truck was already parked outside. The driver looked at me, then at the house, waiting. My heart was pounding, but my hands were steady for the first time in years. "What is this?" my sister snapped. "You can't just take stuff. Mom will freak out." I opened the front door wider and pointed. "Everything with a blue sticker is mine." She laughed sharp and cruel. "You're joking. That's basically the whole house." Exactly. For hours, movers carried out couches, tables, lamps, appliances. Every thud felt like 8 years of silence finally breaking. My sister started crying halfway through, calling her parents, pacing the driveway like a trapped animal. Neighbors watched from their porches. One of them whispered my name like it was gossip. By evening, the house looked hollow, echoey, honest. I drove straight to my new apartment, a place I'd signed for months ago without telling anyone. Clean lines, sunlight, furniture already waiting. Mine. I sat on the floor and laughed until it hurt. The peace lasted 12 hours. The next morning, my phone exploded. Missed calls, voicemails, stacked on top of each other like accusations. My mom's voice was shaking, my dad was furious, my sister was hysterical. They accused me of stealing, of planning this, of being ungrateful after everything they'd done for me. That night, we had a family video call. Everyone was there, parents, sister, even relatives who never remembered my birthday. Faces filled the screen, judgment already decided. My dad didn't let me speak. "You embarrassed us," he said. "You took advantage of us." I waited, then I shared my screen. The room went quiet as my spreadsheet filled the screen. Line after line, dates, amounts, rent, utilities, furniture, appliances, 8 years of receipts, scanned and organized. I scrolled slowly, letting the numbers sink in. My sister's mouth fell open. My mom started crying. An aunt whispered, "Oh my God." "That's not even everything," I said, my voice calm, steady. No one laughed now. No one joked. The power had shifted and they could feel it. My dad tried to interrupt, but I kept scrolling. Totals appeared at the bottom, a number so large that it made my sister gasp. The silence stretched, heavy and uncomfortable. "You knew?" my mom whispered. "All this time?" "Yes," I said. "I just stopped pretending it was okay." They didn't apologize. Not really. They blamed stress, misunderstandings, love. My sister said she never realized how hard I worked. I ended the call without arguing. I blocked location sharing. I cut off automatic payments. I drew boundaries they couldn't cross anymore. A week later, my sister showed up to my door unannounced, eyes red, voice shaking, saying she needed to talk, right as I noticed something on my phone that made my stomach drop and my smile slowly return. I looked down at my phone while my sister stood there begging, and that's when I saw the notification from my bank. The final transfer had cleared. Every cent I was owed was now safely sitting in my account, untouched, undeniable. I slipped the phone into my pocket and opened the door wider. She stepped inside and froze. The apartment was quiet, bright, finished. Real art on the walls, new furniture, a calm she had never seen around me before. Her eyes scanned everything, confused, threatened. "How did you afford this?" she asked, like it was an accusation. I didn't answer right away. I poured myself a glass of water, took a sip, and finally said, "The same way I afforded your lifestyle." She broke down then, not dramatically, just small, shaking sobs. She said her parents were panicking. They'd had to sell the second car. They were arguing about money. The house felt empty and cold. For the first time in her life, she was paying her own bills, and it scared her. "I didn't know," she kept saying. "I swear, Lily, I didn't know." "I know," I said, and I meant it. That was the most painful part. She hadn't planned to hurt me. She just accepted the power I gave away. A month later, my parents asked to meet. Public place, neutral ground, a small cafe near the water. They looked older, smaller. My dad avoided my eyes. My mom kept folding her napkin like she could smooth things over if she tried hard enough. They apologized, finally. Not perfectly, not fully, but enough for me to hear the truth buried inside it. They depended on me because it was easy, because I never said no, because I made their lives comfortable at the cost of my own. "I'm not your backup plan anymore," I said. "I'm your daughter, or I'm nothing." They nodded. They didn't argue. I didn't give them money. I didn't offer solutions. I gave them boundaries, clear ones, non-negotiable ones. And then I left. Life after that felt quieter, stronger. My sister got a job, a real one. She stopped bragging. We talk now, carefully, honestly. My parents downsized, learned how to live within what they actually had. Some days are awkward, some days are warm. None of them are silent anymore. I kept the spreadsheets, not out of anger, but as proof of how far I'd come. The cruise photos still pop up on social media sometimes. Smiling faces, blue water, expensive memories. But every morning, I wake up in a home I paid for with my own strength, my own discipline, my own power. And that's a freedom no ticket could ever buy.